So whether you're new to the law of attraction or manifestation, or you've been around for a while, you're on this video because you wonder what is or is there any difference between the law of attraction and manifestation? Well, that's what we're talking about in today's video. What's up, y'all? Coach David here. And before we get into it, in the description below, I might pin it in the first comment, but definitely in the description, there is a link to download a free success meditation. It is awesome. I've used it for years for myself and clients, and it will help you outline the future vision of what you want to create in your life and then run you through, guide you through with some awesome music, yours truly, my voice, and a little bit of brain entrainment to help get you in the state of creation. Gotten great feedback on it for years. It's yours for free. And again, the link for this free success meditation is in the description below. All right, so let's get into it. So manifestation versus the law of attraction explained. So the first thing I want to start off with is I looked up the origin of the first time basically these terms have appeared in the world. Okay. And my quick little advanced research, aka Wikipedia and a few other websites, shows me that in 1891, apparently there was an author from California named Prentice Mulford who used the term law of attraction in his essays. So that's 130 some years ago, basically. And for all intents and purposes, let's say it's around that time, right? Even if it was 100 years back before that or something, this term, the law of attraction, appears as early as that, I guess we could say, right? Now, I looked up the term manifestation, knowing as someone who has delved into Buddhism and or Hinduism over the years and is kind of my spiritual foundation, to be honest, I looked up when was the first time that the word manifestation ever existed, not in English, but in Sanskrit, because that's what they would have spoken. And there's a reference to something in the Upanishads, which are sacred Indian texts or Hindu texts, at about 800 to 500 BCE. So that is 3,000 to 3,300 years ago, right? Am I doing that math right? Or more? So there's one distinct difference between the two. Law of attraction, known as a term or as a cultural reference, is only in the last 100, 200 years, while the term manifestation has been around for thousands and thousands of years, okay? Now, to me, just to kick this off, if the law of attraction is McDonald's, manifestation or conscious manifestation is like the fancy top-end Asian fusion restaurant in your city or town, or the steakhouse, or the gourmet vegan place, or whatever it is you're into, right? Law of attraction, while a great entry point, and of course the movie The Secret really popularized this in our day and age, and has really exploded over the last, coming on 2 decades now, right? 2006, I believe, or 7, right in there. It's like between 2005 and 2007. The Secret came out by Rhonda Byrne. Very cool movie overall. November 2006, just looked it up. Introduces to creating one's life through something more than just focusing and doing goal setting and achieving, something a bit more magical, right? Something that hopefully takes less effort. As we all know, if you've practiced the law of attraction or manifestation, a lot of issues come up. It's not as easy as thoughts become things. It's not as easy as thinking and it happens. It's not as easy as think positive and everything goes your way. It's just not. And anybody that tells you so is high on the LOA. They're smoking a lot of LOA DOPE, or maybe they had some really easy experiences, or they're manifesting stuff that's really tiny and really not that hard to do or that impactful, you know, for them. And if we just look at the time frame that these terms are used, we can see that if something has thousands of years behind it versus 100 or hundreds, there's a big difference there, right? And people have been chipping away at it in various ways, manifestation, for thousands of years from various angles. I remember when The Secret came out, I was living in New York City, and we were all like, oh my God, manifesting parking is so easy. This is amazing. The law of attraction. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, manifesting parking isn't that hard. We've come to find out, right? All of us have. And many of us also found that when we really tried to manifest with the law of attraction, something bigger, something we desired more, something we had blocks and obstacles around, doubts, fears, insecurities, uncertainties, that it was much more difficult if it could be manifested at all. Or we would manifest something close and go, oh, I guess that was it. Or maybe I need to try again, or something like that, right? And if you've been on different communities and Reddit and law of attraction, you see a lot of this going on. A lot of, near misses. A phrase we used to grow up on is almost counts for only horseshoes and hand grenades, where you can get it near something but not actually do it, right? Law of attraction gets treated, from what I've seen a lot, as if you're landing a plane in the airport and you land it in the ocean, you're like, oh, I did it. It's like, no, you have to land the plane at the airport. You just crashed in the ocean, basically. You didn't manifest it, right? And people I get why they're doing it. They're really trying, and they're wanting to make progress. And maybe they had some manifestations early on that were small, and then they're going for bigger stuff. And then all their subconscious resistance and fear and doubt comes up, and it's a whole different game. It's like when somebody is practicing walking on a tightrope or that wire, and they're 2 feet from the ground, and now we're going to move that same wire, which you just walked on 100 feet. Now try and do it. That's how the law of attraction is approached by a lot of people. And so my interest, I consider myself a manifester when I practice manifestation. I'm interested in people that are successful, that practice manifestation. And I was listening to somebody today named Trevor Blake, who's a very successful entrepreneur from what he's said and what I can find. And he's sold several companies for hundreds of millions of dollars. So I consider that pretty successful. And look, success doesn't just have to be selling companies for hundreds of millions of dollars, but that's pretty legit, right? Let's say success was I healed myself from cancer completely, verified by x-rays on either side, like Joe Dispenza helps people with. That's legit too, right? Or whatever domain of life, that's legit, right? Whatever that is for somebody, that's success. And so somebody that not as just also achieved success, like Jeff Bezos. I have no idea if Jeff Bezos practices manifestation, right? I don't know. Let's just assume no. Well, Jeff Bezos has created Amazon and all these riches, but if he hasn't intentionally practiced manifestation, then it doesn't count either. It has to be both, right? For me to look at it and go, okay, this person knows something, versus some random person on Reddit or YouTube that's talking that we have no idea what their level of success is in terms of law of attraction manifestation, right? And so if you're listening to me, right, going, well, what about this dude, Coach David, talking, right? Again, I'm not a manifestation coach. I use it myself and bring it in when clients want and bring perspective. But I'm all about helping get results using the mind and behavior and opening up possibility, which of course there's crossover, right? But for me, I manifested, quote, a successful IT career, right? I've manifested a reasonably successful coaching business, but I've had my ups and downs. But I'm not coming out here going, I'm the most successful entrepreneur coach in the world. No. And I've backtracked and looked through my life when I didn't know about manifestation and go, that to me counts as a manifestation, though not a conscious one, because I wasn't consciously practicing it. I believed and had desire, unbeknownst to me, to get these things and knew I could do it, which is a form of manifestation to me. But it's not the conscious, like, I want this, I'm going to use manifestation as a methodology, as a system, as an approach to increase the probability that I attract or create that thing faster, sooner, more efficiently, more easily, more effortlessly, right? That's what conscious manifestation is all about. And from this point on, I'm going to use the term manifestation and conscious manifestation interchangeably, because I'll probably forget. Because technically manifestation could be conscious or unconscious or superconscious, right? In Hinduism, they talk about God manifesting in various forms. Neville Goddard will talk about, your God, basically a manifestation of God, not an ego little God, but we're all part of God, right? And manifestations in form from God, which is undefinable, from source energy, from spirit, from great consciousness, from whatever you want to call infinite consciousness beingness, aka God, right? We're all made of that. We're all that field. And so who doesn't want to snap their fingers like magic and make something appear? And I've said this in my Law of Attraction Explained by a Life Coach video several weeks ago, that in Hinduism and Buddhism too, there are powers known as siddhis, S-I-D-D-H-I-S. Go look it up. Siddhis, S-I-D-D-H-I-S, siddhis. They are manifestation powers. Yes, literal powers. Seeing the future, manifesting, materializing objects out of thin air, resurrection, super speed, running, teleportation, right? All these things have been talked about for thousands of years, people, in Hinduism, in Buddhism, etc. Jesus Christ is purported to have healing powers. Those are siddhis. So again, with manifestation, my feel is that a much more complete and comprehensive approach to creating reality. And I really like the term reality creation, which some people out there use. And when we hear people say manifestation and reality creation, and that's what they talk about more than they use law of attraction, to me, those people are coming from a much more comprehensive approach, a much more real approach. They're just not touting, okay, law of attraction is simple and just do your affirmations and do your visualizations and just try harder on those things if it's not working. No, these people understand that other obstacles can be in the way and other things need to be cleared psychologically, spiritually, energetically, whatever you want to say, and that the specific method is not nearly as important, if important at all, compared to actually embodying the final end state of being, doing, having, whatever that thing is, and going beyond what current physical reality shows up as and continuing to persist in that, as Neville Goddard's feel it real, as some people call it, or live in the end, as he said, is the gist. It's all in there. Now, doing that is difficult. And some have said Neville Goddard just wasn't the greatest teacher in terms of the specifics of how to do it, because he was kind of a natural at it. He was right, but it's a little bit like Michael Jackson, the late great Michael Jackson, trying to teach you how to sing when he didn't have the difficulties that somebody who maybe was older when they learned to sing would have had, and the little nuances and tough spots that he just was like, I don't know, I just do it, right? It's kind of like when people come to me for social anxiety help, social confidence, and they often say to me, I've gone to this therapist and they don't understand how to help me. I mean, they know therapy, but they don't understand. I'm like, yeah, because they haven't been through it. They haven't worked through it. They haven't pushed through it. They haven't found the little nooks and crannies of it, right? Like I have done. And I've done that with other things too that I've helped people with, right? I've helped people that came to me and said, hey, you know how to do online marketing and stuff. Can you help me with that? Can you build me that? Can you advise me on that? Sure. Right? So having specific knowledge on it, and not that people can't be helpful, not that some law of attraction coach out there couldn't be helpful by parroting what they already have heard because you trust and believe in them, because it comes back to belief. But it's not as trustworthy as someone who practices more comprehensive manifestation, reality creation. I like to call it success creation too. I like to call it success creation because I ultimately don't even care if it's manifestation or not, but because I'm a coach and I care about getting people results. But I will say that in my experience, if we're working on manifestation, we're working on more energetic levels. versus just action and physical matter levels. That's where we're up leveling and trying to explore and learn and expand in levels of energy more, and not just physical reality, which is a form of energy. It's a hypercondensed form of energy. As Joe Dispenza, the great Joe Dispenza, has taught me, of who I've studied with and gone to one of his week-long workshops and done some of his online stuff and whatever. And I will tell you this, even though I was going to these workshops, I had a hell of a time working on certain manifestations, working on, and Joe Dispenza's putting us through the ringer. We're going from some days 3 a.m. in the morning to like 8, 9 at night, depending on the day, like hardcore learning, meditating many times through the day, visualizing. I mean, this dude is putting us through the ringer. But if I have these underlying meta beliefs that something can't happen for me, it doesn't matter what I do. This is the challenge of manifestation. And a lot of it has to do with how we see ourselves and our reality and our identity that gets in the way, and stuff that's ingrained in subconscious that we have to root out and figure a way out around. And that takes a lot of self-awareness, right? It's not just doing the certain practices like law of attraction. Fluff often offers a promise that it's just that easy to do. It's not like that. So if at any time I call myself a manifestation coach, if for some reason I get to that point, I call myself a success creation coach at this point, then I will be living up to my standard of being a manifestation coach, which I'm not there yet. I'm a coach that will help whatever I can through what I know through coaching psychology, through manifestation, through taking action and accountability and commitment and all the basics of the stuff I've been doing for over a decade, right? Well, over a decade full-time as a full-time coach, but I started my coaching journey in 2004 at my first ontological coaching training, which was about coaching around narrative, emotions, action, how we carry ourselves in our body, ways of being, basically. And arguably, it all ties to manifestation, but manifestation really has that flavor of we're working with energetics and consciousness in ways that we aren't with, say, a Tony Robbins style coaching, which is pure psychology and behavioral, right? Tony isn't going to bring in consciousness and spirit and God per se in the way that we talk about it in manifestation. Now, Neville Goddard, I think, is a real godsend, literally, in the last several years, at least on YouTube and Reddit and such, because looking into Neville more, apparently he was pretty big at the time, and for all intents and purposes, he knows what he's talking about. He, to me, has a very Hindu flavor of talking about God within. That's a huge difference between the East and the West, spiritually, religiously, is that God is within versus God is some external force that you pray to and bow down to and, hopefully you'll give me stuff. It's not like that in Hinduism. And the statement, you are God, comes from Hinduism. Unfortunately, it's been misinterpreted in this very narcissistic, solipsistic type of thing of people who aren't very spiritually advanced and want to get their stuff and manifest it, go, oh, I'm God, I'm as powerful as God. And you've got some, no offense, 15-year-old teenage girl going, I'm as powerful as God. Well, that's not really what Neville's saying. Yes, you're the operant power and made of that, but it's not like you can just go ahead and blow up the world all of a sudden and destroy the universe. Okay. That's not what he's saying. And that's, I hope you don't do that, 15-year-old girl, Sophie. Okay. And wait, if you do, then hey, that's like Shiva, right? Shiva in Hinduism, very popular deity, which is just a manifestation of God. Shiva is a particular or manifestation of infinite consciousness. Like there's Vishnu and Shiva and Krishna and Kali, if we get into goddesses, and Lakshmi, Ganesha, all these Hindu deities, of which I am not a follower of that per se. There are so many flavors. And one thing that's misunderstood about Hinduism and those manifestations of gods, those deity manifestations of God, is that those are actually as real as God. There are some veins of Hindu that worship those gods as completely real, much like a lot of Christians worship Jesus and God as this external thing instead of Christ is within, which is really Christ's teaching when you boil it down to it. Again, I'm no expert in the Bible. Maybe I'll get into that. I'm much more of the Eastern flavor, right? If you can't tell already, that's all I'm talking about here. But my complete sense is that Christ wouldn't really approve of people worshiping him like they do. In fact, Christianity was created 300 or some years after Christ died. Pretty sure he wouldn't endorse that, okay? Knowing how righteous and basically enlightened Christ was. Christ was enlightened like the Buddha. And many Buddhas have been enlightened, and yogis, and right? Even though it's very difficult to do, it's a little bit nonsensical in my opinion. Not a little bit, it's a lot nonsensical, okay? On the same token, if I go to a Hindu village and they're worshiping Shiva or whatever, it's completely real, and they need to bow down to Shiva like they need to bow down to Christ, it's the same level of consciousness. It's on a lower level, and again, their education level probably ties into it. The higher education level, the more you're going to see that philosophically, you're going to understand this intellectually, and then make it real in experience. This sounds so freaking arrogant right now, but whatever, probably, I don't care. You're going to go, okay, well, that's just a symbolic representation, right? Just like the flowers are a symbolic representation of God. You are in your physical form. I am. The wood, the ant, the boat, the plane, the clouds, whatever we label, it's all God manifested inside out into this apparent physical reality. But we're not separate from it. It's all manifesting constantly, just pulsing, manifesting, just going, living cycles of life and death, emerging, disappearing, coming into quote unquote existence and out of existence. And now we've gone on a massive spiritual tangent. And now back to our regularly recorded programming. But seriously, if you're this far and still listening, would love to hear you drop a comment below and what you think. Would love to have this conversation with you. And smash the like button if you think this is valuable, because it will tell the algorithm and put it out to more people that could benefit from this. But end of the day, would you rather practice something? Would you rather eat a McDonald's or a gourmet restaurant that's also healthy? Something that's a bit more comprehensive in experience and better for you, especially if you run into trouble, right? I think the answer is obvious for me and for those in my circles, but maybe you're fine with the lighter version, manifestation light with the law of attraction. If it works for you, who am I to say? But if you're running into serious challenges, you may want to look a little deeper into what's up and not listen to the rhetoric and see who you're listening to out there when it comes to manifestation. Should you really be hanging around those communities? Are you getting the life that you want, or are you just fooling yourself or just enjoying the community? And look, if you want to be in the community and enjoy yourself, r/law of attraction, right? Subreddit, then great. But realize that that's what you're doing, and you may be totally stuck, or things may be even getting worse for you. And you're just deluding yourself into not really creating the life you want. You see my point? Because this channel is all about helping you create what you want and your version of success, and really enjoying that and living that full manifested life, as it were, right? But again, I am not per se a manifestation coach, though as I get better at it, and maybe some clients will come because I'm talking about this who are interested in it, then we'll explore that together and I'll help them. But I know that my fundamental coaching works very well for the right clients, right? That we're an energetic match in helping them create what they want to create, which is my interest, that you get what you want, truly what you want, and benefits you and makes you fulfilled. Oh, and if you are new and haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. If you'd like to get notified of videos and hit that notification bell, because I don't want to make sure that you don't miss anything. Again, the free success meditation download in the description below. And it's really cool stuff. It has helped a lot of clients. It's helped me, although I haven't used it in a while, but I'm doing my own visualization and manifestation practices. Yes, daily, on the daily. Some days I skip, but mostly. But that is a cool tool and should help you out a lot. Okay, so until next video, we are complete talking about manifestation versus law of attraction. Bye-bye.